Assalamu alaikum. I am Professor Hassan and you are watching my channel Professor Hassan Hamayon. Alhamdulillah, all the male and female candidates of BA class 3rd year English appeared in today's paper, and that was a very easy paper in the first group. I want to discuss some important and prominent points of that paper. I want to discuss with you people. The question number one about the five stanzas. You will have to elaborate the stanza into your own words. And I told you in the last lecture, first of all, you will have to tell about the reference. These lines have been taken from that poem by the poet name. Then context. You will have to write the theme of the poem, the summary of the poem, and then explanation. You will have to explain the given lines in the exam. And the first stanza, which was in the paper of today, first group, a poor life this if full of care. We have no time to stand and stare. Actually, these are the last two lines of the very first poem, Layer, by William Davis. Actually, dear students, in the beginning of the poem, William Davis asks a question from everyone. He says that, what is this life if full of care? If we have no time to see the objects of nature, we have no time to sit under the branches of tree. He says that cows and sheep, they are animals, they are better than us. They sit under the branches of trees, they get the advantage from the shadow of the trees. Tree gives us oxygen, it gives us fruits, it gives us shadow. Cows and sheep are better than the human beings because they get the benefits, they take the advantage from the facility of the tree. And then he says that we have no time to see the squirrel which hides its nut in the grass in the forest. That's a very beautiful sight. Then he gives the example of the sunshine. It comes on the river, on the stream, and it is reflected by the stream, by the water of the stream. And that's a very beautiful and a very exquisite scene. But we are busy in our dull and boring life. We work like machines. We should allocate some time. He says that we should allocate and we should manage some time for these activities, for amusement, for getting the happy life. And then he gives the example of a beautiful girl. She dances, she smiles, and her smile starts from her eyes. But we are busy in our boring and dull life. Actually, in these two lines, in the last two lines, he answer the question he asked by him in the beginning. What is this life if full of care? If all these things are present in our life, we have no time to sit and stand under all these things. Then he answers, a poor life this. He answers the question that life is very poor. We are leading a poor life, not a happy life. Now that was the question number one. Now I will discuss, in the last lecture I discussed with you a very important poem, One Art. Actually, the lines he asked, I lost two cities, lovely ones, they were very beautiful, and vaster, they were very wide, they were very vast. Some reams I owned, two rivers, a continent, I missed them, but it was not a disaster. She's a poetess in One Art. Actually, she wants to say us that it is not a difficult task to become the master of losing things. We face many difficulties, many hurdles in our life, but we should not be worried about this. We lose everything. We lose different things every day. And she gives the example in these lines. She says that I lost. Actually, she lost two cities. They were very beautiful. These cities were very beautiful, very charming. They were very decent, a very prominent one. And I lost them. I owned lovely ones. They were very beautiful. Some reams I owned. She was the owner of the reams and two rivers. A continent she lost. I missed them. She says that I recall the memories of all these beautiful things, but they all these things do not become the source of any disaster, any worry, any tension in my life. I'm satisfied. I'm talking about the future. I discuss about the present and the future. I do not take any tension after thinking about the past. She on actually want to say all these things. Then from the story, a very important question was asked. What are the reasons that John Steinbeck could never forget his chance of meeting with the cotton pickers? Actually, whenever he recalls the memories of a beautiful incident, and in the countryside, actually, he was walking, and there he met their simple cotton pickers. Why does he feel amusement whenever he recalls the memories of that beautiful incident? The first one, they were hospitable. They offered the breakfast to the writer. They were very simple people. They were poor people. They were very contented. They thanked God after the breakfast. And even at the end, when the writer want to go back, they offer him for the daily cotton picking. Actually, they were simple cotton pickers. They were actually taking the daily wages. They were not the permanent employee, but they offer the writer for the job also. That's why these were all the qualities. Because of all these qualities, whenever John Steinbeck recalls the memories of that beautiful incident, he feels amusement, he feels happiness. Then I want to ask the question number 3 of the poem. Do you agree with the poet? He says that our life is poor, and I have answered you that he says that yes, we agree. If we do not find the time in our life for the objects of nature, we do not go in the garden, we do not pluck the flower, we do not smell the flower, we do not play with our children in the garden, and we do not see the beautiful things of nature, our life is boring. And we will suffer from diseases, we will take the tensions if we do not allocate the time for the objects of nature. We should agree with him actually. I just give you the glimpses of the questions. Then the question is critical summary of the poem Huntsman by Edward Lowry. Dear students, a very important question actually. Actually, what was the reason? What was the message given by the poet in that poem? In Huntsman, Kagwa was a expert hunter. He hunted the lion many times. But in that poem, he was hunted because he did not give understand the message conveyed by the skull. Skull wanted to give him the message that you should not speak much in your life. But he was a greedy person. For the temptation, he wanted to get the reward from the king. He did not understand the message and he was killed. That was the tragic end of the expert hunter actually. That is the critical poem. The skull wanted to give the message, but he was misunderstood. Now one more question I want to discuss with you. Emily describes the journey from this world to the world of eternity. Everyone is to go from this world. Everyone has to die. And she says that death was very kind to her. She gives example of the children. She uses the simile of the children for her childhood actually. When she was a child and she was a school going girl, then death was waiting for her. Death didn't disturb her. Then she passed through the grazing grain actually. That is a symbol of that is a actually. That is a symbol of that is a simile of the youth. Then she uses the simile of the setting sun. When she was in the old age, death was waiting for her. Then at the end, we will have to go from that world to the world hereafter. Now, dear students, I want to discuss the translation with you people, and that was very important and very easy. You will have to confirm it. एक दफ़ा एक मछेरे ने दरिया में जाल डाला. Once a fisherman threw a net into the river. For fishing, you can say इत्तेफाक से एक छोटी सी मछली जाल में फंस गई. By chance, one small fish was caught. ये पैसिव वॉइस है. फंस गई was caught into the net. जब मछेरा उसे अपनी टोकरी में डालने लगा, when the fisherman was about to put it, about to आता है कोई काम होने ही वाला हो, was about to put it into his basket, मछली ने उससे कहा, the fish answered, the fish said, जनाबे आली, dear sir, अभी मैं आपके किसी काम की नहीं हूँ. Now you should not use me, there is no need of me, I will not help you in any work, क्योंकि मैं बहुत ही छोटी हूँ, because I am very small, I am very small. आप मुझे अभी दरिया में डाल दें. You should put me into the river. Should आएगा यहाँ पर. अगले साल तक मैं बड़ी हो जाऊंगी, इन द नेक्स्ट ईयर आई विल ग्रो ओल्ड, आई विल बी बिग, फिर बेशक मुझे पकड़ लीजिएगा, देन नो डाउट देन यू शुड कैच मी। मछेरे ने कहा, द फिशरमैन आंसर्ड, इसमें कोई शक नहीं कि अभी तुम बहुत छोटी हो, नो डाउट नाउ यू आर वेरी स्मॉल, और अगले साल बड़ी हो जाओगी, एंड यू विल बी बिग इन द नेक्स्ट ईयर, लेकिन कौन जानता है कि अगले साल मैं तुम्हें पकड़ भी सकूंगा या नहीं, बट हु नोज विल आई बी एबल टू कैच यू इन द नेक्स्ट ईयर और नॉट, इसलिए 9 नकद अच्छे हैं 13 उधार से। यहाँ पे ईडियम यूज किया गया, वन बर्ड इन हैंड इज बेटर देन टू इन द बुश, यानी कि जो आपके परिंदा हाथ में एक ही है वो उन दो से बेहतर है जो झाड़ियों में छुपे हुए हैं। ये कहकर बाय सेइंग दिस, उसे मछली को टोकरी में डाल दिया, ही पुट द फिश इनटू द बास्केट, एंड उस और उसे घर ले गया, एंड वेंट टू हिज होम विद द अलोंग विद द फिश। आपके बेटे आपसे रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा कि अल्लाह ताला आपको कामयाब फरमाए, मेरी दुआ भी है कि मेरे बड़े चैनल को भी सब्सक्राइब कर दें, लाइक और शेयर करें, ताकि आपको जो मेरी नेक्स्ट वीडियोस हैं, नेक्स्ट जो बड़ी इंपॉर्टेंट आपके पेपर्स आ रहे हैं उनकी वीडियोस के आपको नोटिफिकेशंस मिलते रहें। दुआ में भी याद रखिएगा। अस्सलाम वालेकुम।